Is weight gain really about calories or hormones? Weight gain is one of the most debated topics in health and fitness. Some experts insist it's simple: eat more calories than you burn, and you gain weight. Others argue that hormones, not calories, are the real drivers of fat storage. Social media has amplified both sides, leaving many people confused, frustrated, and unsure what to believe. So, what's the truth? Is weight gain really about calories? Or is it about hormones? The honest answer is this: calories determine whether weight changes, but hormones influence how and why that happens. They are not opposing forces. They work together. Let's break it down clearly. The calorie argument. Energy balance. At its most basic level, the human body follows the laws of physics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. When you consume food, you take in energy calories. When your body moves, digests, breathes, and maintains organs, it burns energy. If you consistently consume more energy than you burn, the excess must be stored. Most of that stored energy becomes body fat. If you consume less energy than you burn, your body must use stored energy to fill the gap, leading to weight loss. This concept is known as energy balance. From a purely mathematical standpoint, calories matter. Every controlled metabolic study confirms this principle. When food intake is tightly regulated in laboratory settings, weight gain and weight loss follow calorie balance. However, knowing that calories matter does not mean the story ends there. Because the real question people are asking is not, do calories count? It's, why do I overeat, crave certain foods, or struggle to lose weight even when trying? That's where hormones enter the conversation. The hormone argument. The body's regulators. Hormones are chemical messengers that tell your body what to do. They influence hunger, fullness, metabolism, fat storage, stress response, and blood sugar regulation. Several hormones play major roles in weight regulation: insulin, leptin, ghrelin, cortisol. Thyroid hormones. These hormones do not override physics, but they strongly influence behavior, appetite, and energy expenditure, which ultimately affect calorie balance. Let's look at the most commonly discussed ones. Insulin, storage hormone or misunderstood messenger. Insulin is often labeled the fat storage hormone. It is released when you eat, especially carbohydrates. Its primary role is to help move glucose sugar from your bloodstream into your cells for energy or storage. Insulin indeed allows fat storage to occur. However, insulin alone does not cause fat gain in the absence of excess calories. You can eat carbohydrates and not gain weight if your total calorie intake matches your energy expenditure. Where insulin becomes relevant is in situations of insulin resistance. When cells become less responsive to insulin, the body produces more of it. This can influence hunger, cravings, and fat storage patterns, particularly around the abdomen. So insulin affects how your body handles food. But without excess calories, long-term fat gain still cannot occur. Leptin and ghrelin, hunger and fullness signals. Leptin is produced by fat cells and signals fullness to the brain. In theory, higher body fat means more leptin, which should reduce appetite. However, many people with obesity experience leptin resistance. The brain stops responding effectively to leptin's signal. As a result, hunger remains high even when energy stores are abundant. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone. It rises before meals and falls after eating. Sleep deprivation, stress, and dieting can increase ghrelin levels, making you feel hungrier. These hormones don't magically create weight gain. Instead, they influence how much you feel like eating. If hormonal signals push you toward eating more than your body burns, weight gain follows. Hormones influence behavior. Behavior influences calories. Calories influence weight. Cortisol, stress and fat storage. Cortisol is released during stress. In short bursts, it's helpful. Chronically elevated cortisol, however, can increase appetite, cravings for high-calorie foods, and fat storage, particularly in the abdominal area. Stress eating is not a failure of willpower, it is partially hormonally driven. Cortisol increases motivation to seek energy-dense foods. If stress becomes chronic, calorie intake often rises without conscious awareness. Again, cortisol does not bypass energy balance, but it can make staying within calorie needs much harder. Thyroid hormones and metabolism. Thyroid hormones regulate metabolic rate, the speed at which your body burns energy at rest. If thyroid function is low, hypothyroidism, metabolism slows. If it's high, hyperthyroidism, metabolism increases. A slower metabolism means fewer calories burned per day. That can make weight gain easier if eating habits stay the same. However, even here, the mechanism still comes back to energy balance. A reduced metabolic rate lowers energy expenditure. If calorie intake exceeds this new lower requirement, weight gain occurs. Hormones shift the numbers, but they don't eliminate the equation. Why the debate feels so confusing? The reason this debate persists is that both sides highlight real truths, but often ignore context. The calories-only perspective can feel dismissive. It ignores the biological complexity that influences hunger, cravings, and energy expenditure. The hormones-only perspective can be misleading. It sometimes implies that calorie balance doesn't matter, which contradicts decades of metabolic research. In reality, hormones determine how difficult or easy it is to maintain a calorie balance. They influence appetite, motivation, fatigue, and storage patterns. Calories determine whether weight changes. Hormones determine how that process feels and unfolds. The role of ultra-processed foods. Modern diets complicate this relationship. Ultra-processed foods are designed to be highly palatable and easy to overconsume. They often combine refined carbohydrates, fats, and salt in ways that override normal hunger signals. These foods can disrupt satiety hormones, increase cravings, and make calorie overconsumption almost effortless. In this case, hormones are being influenced by the food environment, which then affects calorie intake. This is why someone may genuinely feel out of control around certain foods. Biology and environment interact. Sleep, stress, and lifestyle. Sleep deprivation increases ghrelin and decreases leptin, making you hungrier and less satisfied after eating. Poor sleep also reduces insulin sensitivity. Chronic stress elevates cortisol. Sedentary behavior reduces energy expenditure. All of these factors influence hormones, which then influence calorie balance. Weight gain is rarely just about one thing. It's usually a combination of environment, habits, stress levels, sleep patterns, food quality, and overall lifestyle. So, what actually matters most? If the goal is to understand weight gain practically, here is the hierarchy. 1-point energy balance determines weight change. 2-point hormones influence appetite, metabolism, and storage. 3-point lifestyle shapes the hormonal environment. 4-point the environment influences food choices and behavior. Blaming hormones alone removes personal agency. Blaming calories alone ignores biology. The most useful perspective is integration. Practical takeaways. If you're concerned about weight gain, focus on what you can control. Prioritize whole, minimally processed foods. Eat enough protein and fiber to support fullness. Maintain consistent sleep. Manage stress proactively. Strength train to preserve muscle and metabolic rate. Monitor portion sizes if needed. If you suspect hormonal conditions such as thyroid dysfunction or insulin resistance, medical testing is appropriate. But for most people, small, consistent changes in behavior have a significant impact. The bottom line: weight gain is not purely about calories in a simplistic, moral sense. It is not a failure of character or discipline. It is the result of complex biological systems interacting with modern environments. However, it is also not independent of calorie balance. Hormones influence hunger, cravings, and metabolism. Calories determine whether body fat increases or decreases. They are part of the same system. Understanding this removes extremes from the conversation. It allows for compassion without abandoning science. It encourages both accountability and awareness of biology. Weight regulation is not easy. It is dynamic. It changes across life stages, stress levels, sleep quality, and health conditions. But the foundational truth remains. You cannot gain body fat without a sustained energy surplus. You cannot ignore the hormonal and environmental factors that influence that surplus. The real solution is not choosing sides. It's learning how the system works and working with it instead of against it.